Okay guys, this is Unit 9 review, number 1. You have a sequence right there, and you are given an explicit formula. Explicit formula for the nth term. It's this right here. And I want you to write out the first 5 terms of the sequence. I'm actually only going to write out like the first 3 in this video. You can get the 4th and 5th from the key in Schoology. So if I want the first one, a sub 1, right? Simply means I'm going to go and put a 1 everywhere I see an n. So negative 1 raised to the first power times a 3 to the 1 minus 1 all over a 4 to the 1 plus 1, right? And so negative 1 to the first power is just negative 1. 3 to the 0 power is just a 1, and then we've got a 4 squared, so we get a negative 1 over a 16. And then if I do the second term, a sub 2 equals negative 1 to the second power times 3 to the 2 minus 1 all over 4 to the 2 plus 1. So this is negative 1 squared is actually a positive 1. Then I'm going to have 3 to the first power, and then I'll have 4 to the third power. So that is really just going to be a 3 over a 64. Then for the third term, right, we just repeat the process, negative 1 quantity to the third power times 3 to the 3 minus 1 all over 4 to the 3 plus 1. When I cube a negative number, I get a negative back, so negative 1 times 3 squared all over 4 to the 4th. So that equals a negative, I just dropped my iPad, a negative 9 over 256. And then you would continue on to get the other, the 4th and the 5th term. Now I'm going to make this a little smaller, and then part B asks you if it is if the sequence is arithmetic, geometric, or neither, and you've got to explain. Remember, when you're doing this, if it's arithmetic, you're going to have a common difference. So am I adding the same thing every time? Am I subtracting the same thing every time? If it's geometric, I'm going to have a common ratio, meaning am I dividing by the same thing every time or multiplying by the same thing every time? Because it's dealing with fractions, and I notice that my denominator, basically I'm going 4 squared, 4 cubed, 4 to the 4th. I'm really just going to start by checking I'm going to take the second term divided by the first term. So 3 over 64 divided by negative 1/16 is actually really going to be multiplied by a negative 16 over a 1. And then this is going to be a 4 here and a... That doesn't make any sense. Hold on. It's been a long day. Give me a second. Yeah, no. Divide by 16, and you get a 1, and you get a 16 here. I lied. You get a 1 and a 4 there. Told ya, long day. Okay, so then that is a negative 3/4. And then repeat the process just to double check. You're going to take the third divided by the second. So negative 9 over 256 divided by the second, which really means times 64 over 3. That's going to cancel, well, I'm going to get a 1 and a 3, and then 256 is a multiple of 64, so that's going to be a 1, that's going to be 4 again, and notice how I get the same ratio. So it is geometric, and my ratio is negative 3/4.